So get this is something crazy that I found, right? So I'm thinking of the word Garden of Eden, and I'm looking at the word garden, and I'm thinking, hey, I think I misspelled it as graden. And I was like, wait a minute. So here, let me just get out my whiteboard, right? So I'm thinking to myself, garden, right? But what if I switch it up and use an anagram of garden? You know, E switch with the E with the O, because AEIOU is the same. It's the same letter when you look at etymology. Vowels are interchangeable, and you get dragon. So I'm thinking, this is crazy because there's a serpent in the garden, right? And, in, let's say, Chinese mythology, we see that the snake becoming a dragon is a widespread mythological and literary trope representing transformation, growth, and transcendence. So, into a water dragon after 500 years or a full dragon after 1,000 years, right? And also, the dragon word itself is often associated with water, weirdly enough, in the Eastern kind of way. And obviously, in Eden, it needs to be a place that's kind of well watered throughout. Coming back from some Hebrew roots. So, yeah, obviously, if we see in the word garden, we also have Eden, right? Let's do it like this. And then we have R and G. So G comes down to the seventh letter, and then I had to come back to do this one, right? We have Ra. So the fourfold form, D is 4, right? What is 4 symbolizing? The 4 elements, right? Form, we get the word form from 4, right? Form. So formula, quadratics, you need the 4. So we have the fourfold form. Here, let's scrap this. I mean, you can go to so many different directions with this, right? So we have the fourfold form, also known as the plus sign, and quadratics formula, the 4 elements of Ra, the sun god, radiation. We get the word radiation from here. G, or you could look at it as gone. So when the fourfold nature of radiation is gone, dragon. Or you can think from here, G being 7, that's why the Freemasons use G, completion. Also 33 if you go A to Z is 1 to 26, right? And then if you go to G the second time around, you get 33. So the fourfold nature, right, of materiality, the radiation of the 7 septenary nature of the 7 chakras of completion. Also, I didn't mention, but Libra, right, which is the moment we start to go into fall. It's equilibrium. So the first stage of perfection until the full state, the full everything on. So I forgot to mention that. I'm just going to add that in real quick. So drag on. Sorry for dragging on. So then what do we get with 7? Well, we get completion, but we also get the 7 chakras. This is why we get the word September, right? Septenary, 7. And let's go into that word, sept. So, the scepter of Egypt. So, like what they would hold, the staff. Also, in medical symbology, we get the... What is the snake in medical symbology? So, yeah, Asclepius? So also Hermes, so representing wisdom, right? Knowledge, awakening. Yeah, a piece of sevens. C7. Okay, let's go into 7. Septum. Okay, but anyhow, it's associated with a snake. So the 7 chakras. And so, again, the snake can become a dragon, can have, develop wings, when it's fully awakened. So we go into the word, so we go into Dragon of Eden, Garden of Eden, same word, right? Again, assuming that the snake, the man, and the woman are all processes inside of the body, right? Or all metaphors of inside of the body. And then we come to Gnostic beliefs that say the Genesis story was flipped. That's why this whole Garden of Eden, you don't really know if you should be looking at it as good or bad. Perhaps it's both. Some people think it's an enclosure. Some people think it's paradise. Maybe it's a mix of both. Or it's just, these primordial mixtures of thought, that are inside of our archetypal psychological minds, our universal mind, and this amnesia that we have. So, it comes back to Latin paradise. And so again, we go into dragon, and it seems the Proto-Indo-European to see comes up. I mean, it's really hard to make this stuff up, right? So, obviously, in the Garden of Eden, right, the snake came and said, "You will be like the gods," right? You will see as if you were a god, and you will be able to distinguish between what is good and evil. So, you'll be like us. You will be able to see. In some sense, you cannot see yourself. Right? You don't have the sight. So Dirk, right? Dracon, huge serpent. What other things? So to see clearly. I mean, that just gives me chills, right? Old English tort, Old High German Zohar, we've seen that word. Light, clear, light. And so we go into garden, and it's to grasp or enclose. So to contain, right? But, knowledge is often something that you contain and you grasp. So something that you've seen and something that you've processed is the garden of your knowledge, right? And as you eat the things that are correct for you, or perhaps not eat altogether, and then your serpent becomes a dragon. That's the process of what? Of this kundalini, of this chakra. Just type in chakra. Of the chakra system awakening as it becomes more clear, and as you begin to see more, as you begin to observe more, as the garden becomes cleaner, more organized. So we have enclosure, palace grounds, orchard. But anyhow, and then we go back, Proto-Indo-European root, and we get all these other words: court, chorus, carol, orchard, girth, courtesy. Wow, courteous. So anyhow, you get the idea. So I thought that was weird. I don't know if you guys think that's weird, that these parallels between the Garden of Eden and this dragon, doing this quality of, again, 7, and it's even the word 7, right? It's S even. It's the evening of the S, or the sine wave, that septenary nature. So there you have it. Dragon in the garden. Are these actually the same word?